Welcome back to Say No To Lashon Hara, Day 19. Today's episode and the entire project is done as a refuah shlema for Chana Bat Simafega. Now, imagine you see someone walking outside on Shabbat. They're carrying something in their hand. They assume that the eruv is up and they're allowed to carry. You happen to know that the eruv is down. Could you imagine letting that person take one step, another step, carrying? Each time he moves and stops doing another avera. Imagine you saw someone eating a food that they thought was kosher, but it actually wasn't kosher. Imagine letting them take a bite and then letting them take another bite and then saying, look, well, he already started. I may as well let him finish. Of course, that doesn't make any sense. Each and every part of that is another sin. Chafetz Chaim says that happens all the time when a person starts talking about somebody. You have the opportunity to say to them, let's change the subject, or why should we be speaking negatively about people? It's Lashon Hara. Each word that you let him continue to say, each story that he's allowed to continue to spew about his friend is another avera of Lashon Hara. Of course, a person in that moment has the opportunity to save his friend from fulfilling or breaking many averot and breaking many mitzvot in the Torah. The Chafetz Chaim says that one of the things that a person should think about is that the Torah says that there's an obligation, hocheach tochiach et amitecha, that you must, in a scenario where you see someone who's doing something wrong, especially if they're not aware that it's wrong, partially because they don't know the law, or partially because they don't realize that what they're saying sounds so negative. They just, I'm just telling you the story. This is just what happened. In that moment, you have a chance to be able to stop him from going down a path that he should not be going down. And the Torah calls that hocheach tochiach ramitecha. You shall surely rebuke your friend. The Chafetz Chaim continues and mentions that there's another issue, another point that a person breaks when they speak Lashon Hara, and that is that the idea of ubo tidbak, which means literally, in him you shall cleave, you shall stick. What does it mean to stick to connect to God? The Gemara says, how could a person do that? God is a spiritual fire, you're a physical being, and it says that you stick with the people who follow in his ways. You hang out with, you create an environment where you're with Talmidei Chachamim, Torah scholars, where you're with moral, upstanding people. Therefore, says the Chafetz Chaim, when we move towards a group of people in shul, there's a certain corner in your shul, a certain table at Seudah Shalishit, where people kind of chat, they speak Lashon Hara, but almost like innocently, so to speak. Speaking about this one, speaking about that one, the rabbi, the chazan, this one, he makes this, he makes that, this guy asks for a raise, he's so selfish, he's so stubborn, etc., etc. And as time goes on, you become connected to that group. This is your group of people. These are your people. So the pasuk says, "Ubo tidbak." When you stick to people that are good, what happens? You become good. When you stick with people which are bad or negative or cynical, then what happens to you? You become like them. You become like the environment that you surround yourself with. So there's another positive commandment, which is to be with people that are positive. When a person is speaking Lashon Hara, they are breaking this commandment of ubo tidbak. They are no longer the type of person, and the people they speak to and who listen to them are no longer the type of people that are good, upright, righteous people. They are now petty people who love to talk about other people. Hashem should bless us to always be in a great environment and to surround ourselves with role models and people who lift us up.